The biggest challenge, I think, is to try and reestablish trust in why this kind of new approach, the use of data, the sharing of very personal data, can benefit not only the individual but society at large. If that is done well, and I'm convinced some countries will, then it will have true benefits, very tangible benefits. If people are too frightened, or if regulators or policy makers frighten them into inaction, then they'll miss out on what could be one of our biggest opportunities.
I think probably the mix of the technologies, the services, the communications. Partnerships are very important because it's not only of what's being offered, but it's also the aspect of how it's communicated. We spoke about this morning. How do you put everybody together to work for the same end? And I think this has been very, very important in today's forum, getting all the stakeholders to really engage in ways to find solutions to the same problem.
I'm going to maybe answer from a personal perspective. I work in the beer sector in Carlsberg Group, and I think the one challenge we have is around responsible drinking and moderate consumption, and I think we can really work together with institutions such as WHO, OECD on this topic, where historically it's been industry on one side, institutions on another, and I think that's really where we can make a difference.
I think the biggest thing is ease of integration into using applications and things like that to monitor our health, but also to be able to communicate with our health providers. And I think that's going to help elicit more sustainable behavior change through accountability to various people. So that's one thing that I'm very hopeful for.
I think the most important thing is that we have as many people having access to the best healthcare possible, and that digital will help us to bring both the public and the private side together to make this a reality.
I think a huge challenge that we can solve through health partnerships, and I would say beyond health partnerships, but health and sport partnerships, is I think we can solve an enormous amount of issues related to obesity and to NCDs by getting cities and countries to focus a lot on physical activity and getting people moving because of the massive benefits that can be brought by focusing on this in terms of health.
Partnerships will help us overcome the challenge of resources, but partnership of knowledge is also just as crucial, because a partnership of knowledge will save a lot of money, but also save a lot of time, and therefore save a lot of lives, because we will be able to get to those medicines, to those treatments faster by partnering with the research centers, by the universities, with the hospitals, with the individual doctors, by the teams that are working on all these issues, by the private sector, by the laboratories that are producing the medicines, etc. So I think today, let's apply your question about the 10 years from now. Basically, partnerships are not only the better way to go, I would say they're probably the only way to go.